To talk more about how to travel smart this holiday is travel expert Bobby Laurie. First, a large storm could be impacting travel and cause congested roads and airports. So can people do anything really to prepare for these delays? And if your flight gets canceled or delayed, what are your rights?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. But yeah, you still have some ways to mitigate any possible weather delays that might be thrown your way. First, if you're driving this holiday season, you really control your schedule. So pay attention to the forecast and then make sure you're setting your departure and arrival times based on the weather that you might encounter along the way. Some GPS apps out there that help you get from point A to point B. If you put in your expected arrival time or your suggested arrival time, it'll tell you what time to leave based on the traffic that you might encounter along your way. So you might want to try that as well. But when it comes to aviation and weather delays, well, the number one tip is go to the airport with an idea of what a backup plan might be if your flight gets delayed or canceled. Know what those other options are. So when you finally do get to talk to the customer service folks at the airport, you're kind of helping them along with giving them other options. And one of my tips that no one really speaks about is, a lot of places have multiple airports within a driving distance. It might not be 10, 15 minutes, but in certain places, especially like New York, Washington, D.C., South Florida, you might be able to fly into Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Dulles or Washington National Airport. So if your flight is canceled to your original destination, you might be able to pick an alternate one where those flights are still running on time.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had to do that trick myself. Would you recommend, though, buying travel insurance? I know we all get the alert when we book. And if you already have your airline ticket, is it too late to add it? Do you have to make that decision right when you pay?
No, you don't have to make that decision right away, and you can still add travel protection. And I do suggest you do carry it because travel protection does protect you in the event of weather delays and cancellations. In fact, if you get stuck in an airport rather than staying in that airport overnight, the travel protection will reimburse you for your overnight hotel stay as well. If your bags don't arrive on time and you're going to need some clothes and amenities, you can go out and purchase those things and they'll all get reimbursed through your travel protection. A little known tip, there's a couple travel insurance companies out there that actually allow you to purchase an annual plan. And the annual plan is generally cheaper than what you would pay for travel protection for one specific trip. And the annual plan will cover you throughout the year, no matter how many flights, cruises, or road trips you take.
Oh, that's a good thing to know. Well, we do know that AAA is predicting more than 55 million people to be traveling at least 50 miles away from home, which is one of the busiest Thanksgiving travel seasons in more than 20 years. So is there anything different that travelers can expect to see this year?
I think this year you might have been a little bit complacent over the last few years because folks were a little slow to get back out on the roads after the pandemic. But this year you're going to see the traffic again. You're going to see the congested roadways, and you really need to plan ahead for that. I mean, luckily gas prices are a bit lower than they were last year, so you're not going to see that pinch on your pocketbook or your wallet straight away, but you are going to see those delays as you make your way to your Thanksgiving dinner. And it's important to keep in mind, everyone has the same deadline. Everyone needs to get to where they're going by Thursday. So, that's why you're going to see this mad rush happen on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, Bobby, thank you so much for all of that great advice. Travel expert Bobby Laurie. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks so much. You too.